All right, so I'm here with Jeff Howard. Jeff, how's it going? Well, I was here with
Good.
Jeff Howard. Oh, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me or not?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right,
How's it
good.
how's
I
it
won't
going?
move from this position right. I'm not going to move a muscle.
All right. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. So, how long you been doing stand-up comedy now?
Just a few months, actually. I started back in December,
Okay.
and I always wanted to try and do it. I even took a class maybe like 4 years ago. I tried to take a class, one of those like 6 session things,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually dropped out of it like 3 classes in, just because I couldn't think of material, basically. I felt kind of, trying to come up with something on the spot for the classes. I think I just kind of got stage fright and coming up with stuff. So I kind of dropped out of that, which I regret now, obviously. But back in December, I got the itch again. So
What
that's how
was
I.
what was the moment that got you back in December that got you back into it?
I don't know what it was, honestly. It's just always been something. Like I said, it's always been something I've wanted to do and try. And like I said, I tried to do the school for a little while, and then it kind of crept back up on me again. And I decided to do an open mic. I was going to try and do an open mic in the city because I work in the city, and there's definitely an abundance of them in the city.
Mm-hmm. Where are you
We
where are you located?
I live up in Warwick, New York, but I work down in Manhattan, Midtown.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Yep. But I decided to go do the mic, but actually canceled the mic, and then I guess someone saw me that I signed up for a mic, and they're like, "You want to do a show?" I'm like, "Dude, I haven't even done a mic yet. I can't do a show yet." It's kind of funny, and I feel like I kind of got thrown into it, but I feel like I have the balls to try and go out there. So as soon as I found out, I said, yes, screw it, I'll do a show. Then I did like 2 more to try and get some reps a couple times anyway.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I kind of, like I said, once I got it, I jumped into it again. A little, jumped in too deep a little bit, but I'm glad I did.
Did you go back to that class when you started again, or you just start doing open mics?
With work and everything and living so far now, it's just too much, I think, to do that right now anyway. But
Yeah.
I did the open mics for a while. I did a show in December, and then I did a couple shows for the same producer in January, followed up there. So then it just started kind of bring.
So how often are you going up now?
Maybe a couple times a month. Like I said, it's something. I have a full-time job. I'm in
Yeah.
banking, which is not nearly as fun as stand-up comedy. But it's like I said, it's something I do on the side that's fun, and I get up there. My wife allows me to. Usually at least twice a month. Like I said, I've done a few at Broadway Comedy Club early on, and Stand Up New York. I've done a couple. That's definitely my favorite so far. Favorite club.
Are you just doing all of these mics in the city or anything around where you are now?
There's nothing much, honestly, around here. I joke about it in my shows that I live up in the sticks now, but really, there's not much going on up here. So working in the city, it's easy to go right after work and just take a later bus home.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Does does that, so the banking job sounds like quite a,
it's
pretty unrelated.
very unrelated. I think keeps and doing the stand up stuff keeps my sanity, honestly.
Yeah.
But the banking stuff is something I've done for a while. It's a job. That's all
Yeah.
it is. Pays the bills and everything. And right now, I'd love to stay someday, maybe stand up will, but right now I don't see that in the near future.
What a lot of time to work on material then at work.
Yeah, it's just it's just it's tough because I wish I could do more, like I said, and just practice more and stuff. More recently, I've gotten a lot more comfortable. I don't know what it was. I think I had 4 beers before I went up last time instead of two, so that might have had a part of it. I just went up. I think it was last week or the week before at Stand Up New York, and I had a really good show. And it's always a good crowd there, but that was fun, and it kind of hooked me back in to try and go full steam again.
Yeah. So tell me about these shows you're playing. How big are they? Are there a lot of comedians that are there? Is it mostly people
Uh,
like an audience coming in?
yeah, the ones that stand up. What happens is the producer of the show, Bob DeBono, he brings in about 5 headliners, and then he has about 3 or 4 new, up and comers that he kind of mixes in with the group.
Okay.
So it's a nice mix of talent, I guess you could say. And what we do is when we go in, he kind of just mixes up the lineup. It's not like the new people go first and then the headliners go up. So you are mixed in with them. And that place typically he does shows there on Saturday at 5, which is actually a good time for people who are in the city for, before dinner crowd type thing. And then on Wednesday nights at 8. I've done both of those. One, a few on Saturday, and I just did one on Wednesday, and he easily gets at least 100 people in there a night.
Oh, nice.
Which is nice. I mean, it's always a good crowd. Like I said, I won't badmouth the other places, but it just seems like there's something in the water at that place or in the beer.
That's your favorite?
Makes people laugh, I guess, for not just me, for everyone,
Yeah. So what was it? So going back to, you said, 4 years ago when you first started this?
Yep.
What was it then that got you there?
You know what? I always loved Jerry Seinfeld. Always. Yeah. That was always my favorite show and everything. So watching him and seeing him, and I had gone with my wife to see him out in Connecticut, Foxwoods, right around that time, right before that. So seeing that, seeing him do his thing in person and everything is just incredible. And like I said, I had been to a couple of comedy clubs back then with some friends, and being there and just thinking, hey, this might be a pretty cool thing to do. But people laugh all the time because I was such a shy kid growing up that like anyone you talk to now that they see that I'm doing this, there's no way I would have put money to. So it's kind of funny actually. Even my friggin' few of my teachers on Facebook that friended me, they're like, I cannot be doing this right now. You know what I mean?
So you weren't the class clown or anything then, huh?
What's up?
You weren't the class clown then? No,
I was not. I was shy until college, and then I started partying, I guess, and started coming out of my shell a little bit. But no, I was definitely not the one that was the jokester in class by any means,
Yeah, you were sitting there watching Seinfeld, huh?
Right. I even got into it. I always loved it forever. I got into it about halfway through the series, so for me it was nice when the about repeats. I was still seeing them as new episodes for me. So.
Yeah, that's one of my, if not the one of my all-time favorite shows too. So
yeah,
I love it, and I love the. Have you watched much of his Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee too?
I haven't, and I've been dying to check it out. I think I saw 1 or 2, and it was funny. I just always forget to check it out when I'm on the bus. I end up falling asleep on the bus on the way in, but I'll definitely have to. These days. Yeah,
those are really good. I think that he kind of starts off like in the beginning, because he's probably done, I don't know maybe 30 at least of them now.
Yep.
They kind of start out talking about like he's bringing in different comedians and they're kind of talking about the craft and how they approach comedy and all this.
Right.
It's kind of moved a little more towards just like having people on and just kind of trading jokes, kind of hanging out. But it's still definitely entertaining. And if you're a fan of his, it's his comedy. So
yeah, definitely. We actually just saw him again at Borgata in Atlantic City a couple months ago, I guess. And it's funny just how he is and how he presents himself, and a lot of the material, even from like 4 years ago, he still did a lot of the same stuff, mixed in obviously too. But it's interesting to see that what works, and it's just cool to see a pro, a pro like that doing his thing.
Do you kind of do this? What's your material like? Are you kind of doing like he does, like kind of observational stuff, or are you telling stories?
More observational stuff. I just like, like I was just saying before, we just moved up to Warwick, which is Orange County in New York, which is the sticks. So a lot of my material is geared towards that right now. Why are we I'll give you reasons why we're in the sticks, how I know we're in the sticks, things like that. And when you're in the city, it's funny because you're not sure if it's going to work because these people are in the city. They don't know this area. They don't know what, stuff like that. But whenever you're talking about like the country and things like that, obviously you're going to talk about things that could kind of relate. So one thing I'll say, and I just came up with this and then I used it at a mic, and it was a mic that I had done downtown. It was mostly comics. There wasn't many audience members in the room, and they liked it. And I said, I have to try this at a show. So I tried it recently, and the joke is, and it's just for what people can relate to. But one of the things I said was, it's hard to find a good Chinese takeout place up in the sticks because back where we were closer down to the city. There was an abundance of them. And up here, they're few and far between. And the way you know that a Chinese takeout place is legit is if you go in and the owner's kids are sitting there doing their homework. So that kind of people said like, yeah, you know, it just kind of like clicks. Like, yes, yes, see that when I go get my General Tso's chicken or whatever the hell they get or whatever like that. But it's just things like that I like to try and come up with that people might click with and relate to, because you're gonna get a laugh if they say, oh yeah, that's definitely true. That's true. So
yeah, those little things that nobody thinks about until you tell them about it.
And then like another one I did was I just went to my new dentist last week. So like it was literally like last Monday, and then I had the show on Wednesday, 2 days later. And I'm sitting there, and it was they joke about everyone being slower up here, everything, you know, the pace and everything being slower. And I'm getting a cleaning at the new dentist, and it's like taking a long time. And I get in there a little earlier. People are coming in every 15 minutes, in and out, 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, good, I'll be out of here quick. So I get in there, and they start the cleaning, and it gets to be almost an hour in already. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm just like, why the hell is it taking me so much longer than in and out? And then it hit me that, you know, I have 4 times more teeth than the other people in the so like things like that, like it just kind of like hit me while I was on the chair, like literally on the chair. And I said, all right, let me see. And people liked it. And I get my shows taped whenever I go there. So cool. I like to watch the reactions and see what works and what doesn't, basically.
Yeah.
And those like anal types, like the very next day to like reword things or kind of like tighten it up and things like that. So I guess it's a good thing that I'm like that, but it could get annoying for me. But I just find whatever I could do to make it sound better or flow better. And that's one of the things I'm trying to work on. Like I said, since I'm newer, I still have the nerves a little bit when I go up. But I've gotten more confident, and just learning to like make it flow better is what I'm really working to do, you know?
Do you get to a point where you're like, okay, this joke is done. Like I've performed it X amount of times, and I've watched the tape, and I've rewritten it so many times. Now it's finally done.
Yeah. Like I said, I watch them. There's some jokes that I use all the time. Like we moved up here. One of the jokes is there's a forum designed to close. This is true. I'm not joking about this. There's a forum called Agricultural Disclosure. It just means once in a while we're coming across the property. So like that's a legit form we had to sign at the closing. Like we're acknowledging, yes, there could be horse shit floating through the air at times. We didn't sign it, they wouldn't give us a house or not. I don't know what it is, but it was a legit form we had to sign. So I always joked that you know, the best feature of the house is the hot tub out on the patio. So if our 3-year-old's not going to kill the mood, then the smell of horse shit's definitely gonna do it. But that's something like I that whole sticks theme between like the hot tub and the, you know, now this thing, the Chinese things, that kind of theme I kind of keep. But I'm kind of thinking of new things maybe that I observe or notice that I can kind of put into it. But I like to use something like fresh and new also. So like if something happened like last week, then I'll use a joke related to something that happened to open, basically, kind of get a vibe, see what kind of reaction I get, and then I'll go into stuff that I'm used to doing. So it's just, yeah, like I said, I can't do something that happened in the news like 2 weeks ago in like a few months. Right. You know what I mean? So there's always something I try and pick up new as far as that. But then the theme and the little things come in that get adjusted once in a while, you know?
Yeah. So going back, you said like, so Jerry Seinfeld was like your big inspiration for getting up on stage, right?
Yep.
What was it about? Was it just like watching him enough and saying, oh, I could do that? Oh, I can be funny and make these, like I kind of have the same kind of mindset he does.
Right. Watching his kind of humor, like, I mean, you see the George Carlins and things like that. I'm not like a dirty cursing kind of guy. That's just not me. So, you know, if I was watching that, I wouldn't be as into it. But watching Jerry Seinfeld on, you know, his clips online or stand up or anything like that, seeing that he could be like a clean observational type comedian, that coupled with going a few times to the city with a group of friends to the comedy club, between those two things, some friends saying, you know, you're a funny guy, you should try. Like it was a little bit of everything kind of like pushed me in that direction, like I said. And doing the class was fun. And then I kind of just, like I said, I can't come up with anything new. This isn't right, blah, blah, blah. I kind of backed out. But then I fell back into it again in December, and that's when I'm glad I did. Believe me, and even in the last 8 months, I've kind of been like, do I want to keep going or not? And then you have like a really good show, and you just get hooked. A lot of my friends are like that too. That I've met through that do it. It's like you just have a good show or something, and you just kind of get pulled back in, and you're back at it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ebbs and flows. But
is it big? Sorry, go ahead.
Luckily, I don't have to rely on it for my.
Right. Has it been a good networking kind of event for you too?
It really is.
Shows.
Yeah, definitely. We go, like I said, those shows where the newer people are, like right away you kind of connect with them. You're hanging out at the bar or whatever. You meet with them, exchange, Facebook or you friend them on Facebook, and right away you just build this network that, if they're going to start a show or they're going to do a show, then you can, hey, why don't you come on my show? Or it's just how you get in kind of that way. But at the same time, in addition to making friends with some of the newer people, even the veterans that are there are all cool. So they're sitting in the same bar waiting to go up just like you are. And I've really found that, like, I've never run into someone who's been kind of standoffish or anything like that. They've all been cool, given like at least 1 or 2 words of advice to us. It's just a really cool kind of camaraderie that you see there, which is cool. And I didn't know how it would be. These people are pros. They're there. That's their, go like that, stand up and pros, paid to do this. They're still taking to give you some pointers and things like that, which is cool.
So you haven't really felt too much like, oh, you're like the little guy who's just new to this, and the big timers who've been doing this for years don't really like.
No, like I said, believe me, early on I had the nerves, and I kind of was like holding my paper, clutching my paper with the notes, looking at it, and these people are sitting here at the bar drinking a beer, and I'm sitting in the stand in the corner looking at my notes, making sure I can remember what I'm going to do. But even with that, I feel like they were always cool. Like they knew you were newer and that you're trying to do the same thing that they do. You know what I mean? With Facebook, there have been opportunities where you kind of produce your own show, which is another thing I did once.
Cool.
And that was a Broadway comedy. And producing a show is basically just what you think it is, just kind of gathering the group of comics, determining the door price and scheduling the time and everything like that. And I did do that, and maybe I jumped in too quick with that. But I think, let me give it a shot. If I don't try it, then I don't know if I could do it. Yeah. And we actually got a group of newer. It was more like a newer talent show, I guess. And that was also a Broadway comedy club. And I put together a pretty decent show with about 8 comics, I guess. Everyone did about 8-9 minutes each. And we had.
You put yourself on too? You there? You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So I'm saying, do you put yourself on too on that show?
Yeah. I went on a little bit. That crowd was not as great. It was a quieter crowd across the board for everyone. But it was a really good experience to do that and be able to run it. And it was a good group of people that I have actually talked to from like day one of the newer people.
That's cool.
And we even, like the show was in May, and I had started talking to these people in like December, January, just through social networking, not even meeting them. And May was the first time I actually like met these people I've been talking to for months. Some of them were a little ahead of me as far as experience, but it was cool just to finally meet these people and go up and put on a show. And I even did a whole like second grade picture. Everyone get on the stage. I have to take a picture. You know what I mean? First production. But I feel like you said, because of this network that you build with people, you really do. You are able to put together shows like that because you do become friends with people and who are willing to get together and do that. And then, like I said, when you produce a show and have them on it, it's basically a trade-off. When they're gonna produce one, they're gonna come to you and say, "Hey, why don't you come on my show?"
Right.
It's good.
Do you see yourself producing more, put on more shows?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, right now I'm doing shows a lot. In the beginning, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term of bringer. Basically, everything is a lot of shows are bringers where you're, bring 5 people, bring 6 people, things like that. Luckily, I've had enough people that were shocked enough that I was doing this that they had this. So honestly, the first I had a bunch of people show up, and then it started to kind of trail off because how many times are you gonna ask people to come to the club?
Right.
The club is not something that people go to a lot unless you're really a huge stand-up comedy fan. So a lot of my friends, they think it's cool that I'm doing it, and they'll come once in a while. So it's hard to kind of a lot of people. So luckily there's been opportunities, whether it's mics or even like more like a formal kind of booked mic where you do go. You don't have to bring anyone. I try and do those as well, so it's not too much pressure on me to kind of round up people, you know?
Yeah. But you're getting, I mean, obviously, I assume there's bigger and better crowds at a bringer show.
Yeah, there is. And like I said, the good thing about stand-up is you have the newer people bringing people, but then these people off the streets are there to see the pros. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they're coming in. Headliner is unless they're huge fans and they recognize the names, they don't know if I'm a headliner or someone new. I go up just like everyone else. So that's how they treat you there. You're just one of the comics performing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas some clubs they do announce it as like a new talent show or up and comers or things. So right off the bat, you know, it's not at like the prime time that like certain clubs are 9 and 11 every night or like the big shows. Then you have the other ones are like 8 and 10. So this would be like an hour show at 7 o'clock or something in between. You know what I mean? Like they kind of fit it in differently. So it's not the people buying off the street. You know, people buying tickets off the street are going to those 2 primetime shows.
Right.
And then the ones that are in between are kind of more like word of mouth or us inviting people and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you going to a lot of shows too, or mostly just going down to perform? Mostly
going to perform. It's just like I said, my commute now is like 2 hours each way to get to the city. So it's a trek. I try and do what I can do. On the weekends, after I'm I'm going to take the long drive into the city again.
Yeah.
But once in a while, I definitely try and do it because I do want to stay fresh with it and keep doing it, you know?
Mm-hmm. So you're doing that every day, 2 hours each way?
2 hours each way every day. There's hope that I may be getting transferred to a closer office, actually. But I don't know if it's going to come through or not. But that would work out good. And then I won't be as apprehensive of going into the city on the weekend if I'm not there.
Yeah. That's rough, man.
So, yeah, it's a long ride. A lot of time to think of material and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, that's the benefit. You have a hobby where that benefits you.
And my friends will tell you I'm like a Twitter addict. So like I'm on there like constantly checking my feed and things like that. And it's just a good place to even like throw like a one-liner once in a while or some observation and see what kind of reaction you get. You know, how many retweets and favorites and things like that. And I've used it for that. You know, if I write something and no one says anything or acknowledges it, then I say, all right, maybe. Or even Facebook. Facebook, you're more with friends and family and things like that. So, you know, maybe they feel more inclined to like what you're saying as far as strangers on Twitter who don't know who the hell you are. But I've used both. Like I said, they've both been good kind of, not only for promoting, like doing shows and things like that, but for material too, to see if it kind of catches with anyone or anyone, you know.
It's interesting to think about, like, you know, this kind of old school comedians had to go up like, you know, 5, 6, 7 times a week to work out material, but now you only have to go up like a few times a week or a few times a month maybe, but you're working out material online all the time.
Right. And I'm sure they didn't have that back then and it was starting out or anything like that, but it's a good gauge of what goes on. The coolest thing, I mean, for me, and I don't want to sound sappy, but like the coolest thing is, you know, being, you know, someone saying at the club, like, great job or something like that, who's not family or friend. Because, like, you know, with the bringers, you have the people coming, they're going to tell you they did a good job. I appreciate them telling me that, but I know that I dragged them out to come see me.
Right. They're not there for the comedy. They're there to be your friend.
Right. But when you have someone who then they kind of come out and you're waiting outside for a friend and they come past me, hey man, good job, that kind of thing. Then it's like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I almost feel like then it's like, all right, that's a legit congrats, you know, not as much smoke going up my ass, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like the last show was a lot of tourists, I guess, who were here for the summer, and about half the room was, you know, Sweden, Belgium, Denmark, England, a bunch of people. And I just heard that from them interacting with the comedians that were ahead of me. And that even them, like, you know, I talk about house hunters and things like that. So they're things that even though they're living across the pond, they know what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It may take them a little while longer to understand or to catch what you're coming across with, but it does hit. You know what I mean? And that's cool. And like I said, over there, it's always been a good crowd, and I feel like I look forward to going there at least every other month. I try and go there.
Yeah. So we can bill you as international smash hit now then, right?
Yeah, right. Almost. Maybe one more. We'll do one more, and then we'll see. Yeah. But it's cool. Yeah, like I said, it's cool, and it was cool. That show was cool because, like I said, there was a lot of people, and I think it was like a Swedish couple that came out or something, and they were like, "Oh, really good job," and I was like, "All right, good, thanks, man." But the other comics too, like I said, they're BSing with you just as much.
Yeah.
And
what's the feedback difference? What's the feedback difference between other comics and just random people?
Other comics are more just giving you advice they're not really analyzing what you did. They're more like, oh, you're new or how long you've been doing it. Just remember, blah, 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 blah. Like that's something more that they would do.
Mm-hmm.
They're typically not watching. They're sitting at the bar when you're up there. But when you come off, or, you know, if they hear laughs and things, they're like, oh, all right, good job. They said, you know, just remember, you're doing this because you're having fun. You're doing it. Don't let anyone, you know, it's more like a advice type stuff that they give you than feedback on your actual performance. That's what I've kind of noticed in the short time I've been doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's cool to hear, like, someone, this guy's name was Steve Marshall. He's been doing it for 27 years, and he was on the show that I did at Stand Up New York with, that I was just talking about. And I was outside with him for like 15 minutes, and he was just kind of talking to me about his experiences and, you know, how to approach it and things like that. And it's just nice to get that kind of advice, you know?
Yeah. When you're watching them, are you still able to watch as a fan, or are you just kind of breaking down their bits too and the different pieces of it?
A little bit of both. I mean, seeing them up there, I know who the headliners are, obviously, and seeing them and just watching how they flow. Like, it's just so smooth, the transitions and everything that they talk about, and going into different topics and kind of steering their way through. It's just amazing to me. It's still amazing to me. And I guess from that standpoint, it's like a fan, like, wow, like, this guy is awesome. This is his job. And he kills it. You know what I mean? And even if they're not getting laughs, they're still kind of running with it. They're adjusting or changing their direction, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Not making it like choppy. It's not like, oh, okay, you know, it's not a lot of hesitance and things like that. And that's what makes a pro compared to someone who's newer, where, like, I've been up there and I've done 2 jokes that got no laughs, and I'm like, oh shit, like, now what do I go? And with experience, I think you get more, you know, more comfortable with it, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's been times I've done 1 or 2 jokes and I got nothing, and I just said, where the hell do I go next? And I kind of pause, and again, it's not a fun atmosphere, and it wasn't me, but, you know, across the board too. It's a little quieter, and people are a little more polite. I think they just want to listen to you instead of laugh at you. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you have like a full set planned out when you go up, or are you kind of like judging what joke you're going with next based on the reaction that the previous joke got?
You know what it is? A lot of it is with me. I've had fun is more interacting with people. Like, if I have a joke that's coming in, and I kind of just say, I talk about junk food a lot. Okay. So, like, junk food, I talk about Domino's a little bit. It's always my favorite. Growing up, I love Domino's, and I kind of go into a little bit of a spiel about that. So I'll kind of like string it out, like, oh, what's your favorite junk food? And then someone says something, and then I kind of say, oh, that doesn't freaking count as junk, you know, and I kind of like do that a little bit to engage them a little more. And that's something I kind of like fall back to. Like, right off the bat, if I feel like I'm interacting with people and they're enjoying it, then I feel so much more comfortable. And maybe it's not 2 extra beers or anything like that, but maybe it's just right off the bat, if I start to get laughs and I interact with people and they like it, then I'm 100% more confident. But if there's times where they're not like that in the beginning, I'll try and kind of bring them in a little bit and kind of connect with them a little bit more, and then kind of move to what I was going to go through. But like I said, there's been a couple of times where it took a little while for not only myself, but other comics on any given night to get laughs. And they'll say, oh my God, that, you know, tough crowd, obviously, things like that. But it's part of the game. You know what I mean? I have not been heckled yet. That's one thing. I've not been heckled. I've been put down once. one guy told me slow down, and one guy, one guy made fun of me for talking about Domino's when I was in New York, and Domino's is in Canada. But I kind of like, I said, well, honestly, the joke doesn't go that way. The joke's about Domino's, and it kind of got a laugh from everyone else. So it's just, I guess you got to be on your toes, and
Right.
there are times when I just do like a natural reaction to someone if they answer something or say something, and I feel like I don't think it's that funny, but people do, because I think they think that it's, you know, that a reaction that people would like to hear. You know what I mean? And you're just being genuine. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's cool. It's always fun, and I'm always looking forward to getting up there and doing the next thing, and like, you know, a little 5 or 7 or 8 minutes of fame, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's fun to go up there, and then as soon as I come off, it's fun to be. It's a nice relief once I'm to get off and then enjoy the rest of the show. You know.
Yeah. Is there so much stage fright when you're going up?
Do a little bit. The show I just did on Wednesday was like my 10th show only. So that one, every time I've gone up, I've kind of had a little bit of nerves. But it all depends. My nerves it all depends on how the crowd reacts early on when I'm up there. If I catch them and they start laughing right away, I feel like Superman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel that way. You know, I think a lot of people, if they don't get a reaction they want in the beginning, I think they probably feel the same way, and they're like, "Oh crap," you know, and they start to kind of shelter in a little bit and kind of wonder what they should go with next.
Yeah.
But when you get the bat or interacting, you just kind of hit that wave and you just ride. You just keep going, and it's awesome. And that's what happened recently, like I said.
So do you try to lead off strong then with one of your more successful jokes?
Yeah. I try to lead off with something fresh. So I would do something. Let's see.
Like more topical, like a topical, or like something you've recently written.
Something I wrote and performed back in April was when the national championship for college basketball was going on, and it was in Indianapolis. And what had just happened was they passed that law basically saying that businesses didn't have to sell product or services to gay people, and that's what it had just happened.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to come up with something like that, and I said right off the bat, I just kind of said, you know, anyone here from Indiana tonight? And it was like, no, boo, boo. They all just. And I was just like, all right, this is gonna work.
Yeah.
And I kind of played. Yeah, it's messed up. You know, it's really screwed up that they did that, and it is. Personally, I'm telling you now, it is screwed up. But I basically said, you know, this is screwed up that they did this. You know, I can't believe it, and everyone's agreeing. And I said, and all I'm thinking about is the national championship, which just played there a few days ago, whenever it was. And I said, I just think about the poor people at the poor gay people at the stands getting cocktails. Like, so it's like a something that they would order, but it's, like I said, it's just fun. It's just poking fun, and kind of, they didn't expect it. I think they're like, yeah, he's on our side, and then all of a sudden you throw that out there.
Yeah.
Fun joke, and I'm in no way against gay people or anything like that.
Of course.
It just kind of came. It was like a 180, you know, like, and they liked it. It got a really good an honest reaction. Sometimes, like I said, you know, I could be introducing myself. Hey, we just moved up to the sticks, and I would go into that. Trying to think of other things. I guess recent events that I would
too either.
What's up?
I said I don't want to make you give away all your material here.
No, it's fine. I got to give you what I have at least. Yeah, like I said, I'm constantly kind of making observations and writing and things like that, and there's always the same kind of themes, and then there's little things that I'll try and come up with that come in.
Yeah.
It works good. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm constantly adding things and tweaking and revising.
Yeah.
And typically, as far as minutes that I get when I go up, I mean, I could go from they'd give me 5 minutes, up to 7 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that. And the last show, I actually ended up doing a little bit more than I was supposed to because I was so comfortable and I was kind of talking with people. And talking with people really eats up a lot of time. You're waiting for people to answer you and things like that.
Right.
You lose track of the time. But typically like 5 to 10 minutes. So that's what I'm really trying to work at now is get like a solid 7-8 minutes, like tight 7-8 minutes that I could just go up and just perform it, every night clean, straight throw.
Cool. So what's next for you? What's next on tap?
Next on tap, I'm doing a show, one of those booked mics downtown in the city, August 17th. That's right after work at 6:00, so it's nice. I could head right down and then still get home in a reasonable hour after the 2-hour bus ride.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have another one at stand up in September, and I'm trying to book, like I said, 1 or 2 a month in advance, and then leave room for other things that might pop up in between. You know what I mean?
Cool.
I have a 3-year-old daughter and another one on the way, so it's I can do. I'm happy to do. And
priorities, right?
Once this hits, there's a little hiatus through the winter. Maybe stranded up in the sticks here in the snow anyway, so I'm gonna be able to get down there anyway. Like I said, I do what I can to continue to network with people. People I've met or even just talk to online. I just keep in touch with them, and when things pop up for me or for them, then they kind of reach out. So it's good.
Yeah. Well, I assume we can find out all about where you're performing on your Twitter.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is
J Howard Comic. So
there you go.
J Howard and then COMIC. And I'm on there. I post my schedule on there. I'm not big enough to have a website yet, and I'm not technologically savvy enough to have a website yet. I tried to do a mailing list, but then I realized I don't have much to write in the emails. And Twitter is more one-liners is more my speed. What I could put out there.
Yeah, nobody's reading the emails anyways.
So yeah, Twitter I use a lot, obviously. And people can follow me there. I always follow back. It's just a question if I'm going to mute you or not. That's the.
I like the honesty.
Affection in his head or something. Constantly, those people follow you, but you're going to get muted because I don't want to see that shit in the timeline.
Well, Jeff, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. And I know I'm one of the newer guys. Appreciate you having me on and taking the time to listen to my spiel. Yep.
Great. All right. Well, we'll take care, man. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care, man. Thanks.
Bye.